Hey, what's up, Rasmanites? Hope everybody had a happy and safe New Year. I'm gonna do another wrestling video today, as you can see by the title, another wrestling episode. Real quick, before I get started, you probably just heard the first thing, which is my nephew in the background. My nephew's here, so I apologize for background noise. And secondly, I know that I said that I was going to do a Ring of Honor Final Battle 2011 review, but if you follow all my episodes and not just my wrestling ones, you know that I had extended family in town for Christmas and New Year's that I wasn't quite expecting, so I've been busy and just haven't seen Final Battle yet. I do plan, however, to watch Final Battle before I watch the last 2 weeks of Ring of Honor programming. So if you all want me to still do the Final Battle review, even though it'd be like way late, just let me know that and I will. Thirdly, my friend Fort Minor Project is doing an interactive Q&A style episode of his show in the hot seat, so the link to that will be down below in the description box. You guys go and support him, ask him questions. He's a good guy. Anyway, today is, of course, January 2nd, so I wanted to do some final thoughts on It Begins, but it's stupid to try and guess who It Begins is, because I've always said it's Chris Jericho. I still believe it's Chris Jericho. So, as you can see by the title, I want to talk about if It Begins is Chris Jericho, how Chris Jericho and CM Punk should be booked. Today, on the Razman's Reality. So when you look at Chris Jericho versus CM Punk, if they're going to do this as a WrestleMania match, which I am of the opinion that that's what it should be, is a WrestleMania match, it all depends on how WWE wants to book it as far as Jericho's end of things. Do they want to play off what always happens with the crowd when you get a big return and the returnee gets cheered? Do they want to let the crowd sort of choose between Jericho and Punk as to who the best wrestler in the world really is? Or do they want Jericho to get immediate heat? I personally think the former is much more interesting, because there's people like me who are huge Jericho fans and huge CM Punk fans, and we're just going to watch the match and enjoy the feud anyway. But there are people who are going to try to choose sides, so I think that allowing the fans to see both guys go over, both guys be strong, is an interesting way to go, so that come WrestleMania, you're going to have to choose between the two. If, however, they want Jericho to get immediate heat, because the other thing we have to think about really quickly is, no matter how they're going to do this, if they're going to have Jericho versus Punk at WrestleMania, and that's going to be the one and only one-on-one payoff confrontation that they have to spend 3 months building this up. So the only way they're going to be able to do that is to have verbal war going on between Jericho and Punk. So the direction the promos take and everything is going to determine how they want to book Chris Jericho's character. So as I was saying, if they want Jericho to have immediate heat, if they want to try and negate the cheering that's going to happen when people see Chris Jericho as much as they can, then there's really only one way, in my opinion, they can do it. And Justin LaBar said it on Chairshot Reality this past weekend, and I'm just going to expand on it. Everyone knows that most likely what's going to happen is the lights are going to go out to try and fool people into thinking that it's Undertaker, and there's going to be a final It Begins promo playing on the screen. Either that or they're going to have all of the It Begins promos sort of together as sort of like a new Titantron for Jericho kind of a thing. But if they want Jericho to get immediate heat, what's going to happen is after all that goes down, instead of Chris Jericho being on the stage for a big reveal, Jericho just needs to be in the ring. The lights need to come back up, and Jericho needs to be in the ring, and immediately he hits CM Punk with whatever his finisher is supposed to be this time around. And the best way to do that really is, especially if they want heat, if they want real heat on Chris Jericho, because everybody knows that Chris Jericho is going to attack CM Punk. That's not necessarily going to get him heat. If they want immediate heat on Chris Jericho, what they need to do is they need to have Chris Jericho interfere in the WWE title match to help John Laurinaitis, because everybody knows that there's no way that Dolph Ziggler is going to get a WWE Championship push tonight. He is the next guy, don't get me wrong, but tonight's not his night. CM Punk will walk out of Raw as WWE Champion. So what should happen is John Laurinaitis tries to pull the same thing that he pulled last week to try and help Dolph Ziggler, and CM Punk thwarts it. CM Punk is about to deliver a GTS to John Laurinaitis, then the lights go out, then Punk is in the ring, Jericho's in the ring, and that is when he immediately hits Punk with the finisher. That, to me, is the only way that you can get immediate heat on Chris Jericho, is to have him associated with John Laurinaitis. That is how you're going to get the crowd to immediately boo him. If Jericho is going to play the tweener and they're going to, again, let the crowd choose, I think Chris Jericho just has to be himself. I think he has to do whatever tweaks he's going to do with this character, because I stand by what I said before. I think this character is going to have a more Christian type religious undertone to him. So I think it's just all going to come down to him being himself and playing himself, and I think he can do that just fine to get the crowd in his corner. So if all of you have thoughts on this, please feel free, as always, to leave video responses. I was going to come back tomorrow and try and do a live reaction for you, but I realized that with the way my TV is, I mean, you can see it right now because it's a little bit more angled toward my bed, which is how it would be angled if I was going to do a live reaction video, and the TV is just about fully in my screen. So even if I had my sound turned down, WWE could still see Raw in my video, and I don't want to risk getting copyright strikes or flags. So I'll just do a normal episode tomorrow after seeing Raw and give you my thoughts on what happened. This is reality according to the Razman. And Razman style, it's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.